Hey guys, welcome to another video. Today I'm going to talk about when not to use the useMemo hook and also when not to use the useEffect hook, right? So in this code right here, I have an app component which is rendering a list. It's rendering a list of options, and for each option you can select it and then to show up the name. So you can have the app over here. So you can select the first, so it shows the first. You have second component and unique, right? So you can actually show the, so when you select any of the options, then it shows what the particular option selected. And also you can search for the option too as well if you wish. You can search for the option as well. So that's all what this code is about. But I want to talk about the useMemo hook that is being used over here. So I've seen in some code bases where the useMemo hook is being used anyway, just anyway. So for example, and most likely you've probably seen a code like this before, where you have defined an array or define any kind of object or anything that you wish, and then it's being placed inside the useMemo hook, right? And that shouldn't be the case, right? Because the useMemo hook is only for performance reasons, not solely meant to encapsulate like even simple objects and arrays and stuff. No, that's not the main purpose of the useMemo hook. It's mostly for performance reasons. You can take a look at example for this particular code. We don't have a lot of lists, right? But we don't have a lot of items in the list, so you just have only 4 items. But you will see people using the useMemo hook in such a case, which shouldn't be. My advice is to actually get rid of the useMemo hook and only use it in cases where it's absolutely necessary. So using the React Dev tools, you can actually test the performance of the application in critical areas that you're seeing the app being very slow. So you can use that, test it, and when you find these performance issues, you can use the useMemo hook or the use callback or the React memo function in order to optimize those critical areas. Apart from that, I don't really see the major reason why you use the useMemo hook. So we're going to get rid of the useMemo hook. So we've gotten rid of the useMemo hook, and the app still functions as it is, right? And even in this case, it's more performant because it's not caching any kind of results anywhere inside our application, anywhere in memory, right? So that's one use case that you shouldn't use the useMemo hook for. So that's one thing. So now to the useEffects, right? So in certain code bases or in places, you actually see people writing an effect like this, right? So you have, so this is a realistic example where you have an input. Let's go back to the app. So where you have an input that you can search an item from a particular list somewhere. So in this case, I have a list that I can search an item for and then select it, right? You most definitely have case like this. So when you go back to the app, you'll see the input component written correctly. Then you see a useEffect, right? You actually see a useEffect in which it's going to look through all the options or whatever the list is, and then it's going to run do any kind of comparison that the user wants, right? That where the developer wants, and then render that onto the screen using a different state, right? So you're kind of like creating a separate state to house the items that you want to actually show onto the page, which in my opinion isn't really what the useEffect is for in such a case like this, right? Because you're actually kind of like reducing performance of the application, especially in this case where we don't have a lot of items, right? We don't have a lot of items, but I still see the useEffect being used in this way, right? So the preferred way is to not create an effect and place these options inside another state, but rather use the props. So in this case, it's a prop, the option props. right? Use the props and perform the action on it, and rather show it onto the on the page, right? And it's actually going to save some memory space where it doesn't have to put anything inside the state. So in this case right here, you can actually get rid of all this code over here and then replace them here, right? So we perform the filter and then map over the options that has been picked, and then show it onto the page. So we actually get rid of the whole use effect that we have here, and we don't have this state anymore, right? So we save that, and then when we go back to the component, we actually see that the thing is actually working, right? So we have first, so you can search and all that. And one other thing is missing because of the search word being valid, right? We have an empty search word, so you have an empty string, right? So it's still going to filter that. So in this, so we have a condition over here. Even we are filtering, and so if there is an element, so from this array over here, we have an element property, right, which is just a component. And once you have something like that, we don't actually show it, right? So I actually want to not do that, right? So we're going to place a simple condition over here. So if there is no search word, then we're going to return, and then we have our components back again, right? So this is a pretty simple example of not always using a use effect for just anything, right? Only for some very specific cases. In cases like searching and stuff, you can simply use the list or the array. If it's not too long, you can just simply use that and perform the operation that you are looking for. If it's pretty long, there are other ways that you can go about it without necessarily having to use the use effect, right? So another way that you can actually improve this is by simply having so you can have this options to show. So you can have, if there's a search word, then we want to perform this operation over here. So you have filter. If not, you just want back the options. So we can have this. And we can get rid of the search word over there. Get rid of that. Bring this here. And it still functions just the same. So that's all for this video. Thanks for watching. You share this video, like, subscribe, anything that I want to do, unsubscribe, anything that I wish, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks very much.